guys, welcome back to another edition of What in the Health and Human Performance. Today we are talking about our physical education degree. We have our program director, Jeff Pizzutilla, with us, and then we have two senior students, Brandon here in the middle and Caleb down at the end, joining us to discuss their experience and kind of what the program's about. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So I guess the best question to start off with is, what is this degree like and why pursue it?
So with physical education, obviously the majority of our students that are coming into our program want to teach in the public schools, they want to coach, and usually that coaching and teaching part kind of goes together. Most of our students are coming in with aspirations of teaching physical education and also coaching. But we do have another group of students that are coming in now that are athletic trainers. Athletic training, the degree has moved to a master's program now. And most of our students that come in through athletic training, their goal is obviously they would love to be an athletic trainer for a professional team or a college team. But if those goals aren't reached and they want to get into high schools, in order to be in a high school, you have to have a teaching license. So to do the physical education track and then take the prereqs for the athletic training, that's a great kind of fallback for them with their athletic training degree.
Nice. What type of courses do PE students usually take?
So most people's perception of physical education is we just play games, and they might think that all of our courses are just playing games. But really, all the courses all the degree programs in the kinesiology department have very similar courses. So because it's a Bachelor of Science degree, it's heavy in science. So we take physics, we take biology, anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, exercise phys, motor learning, motor development. So we have those heavy science courses. And along with that, we have all of our teacher preparation courses. So we get students into the schools as early as their freshman year to do observations at different grade levels to get an idea of what it's like. And then as they get into upper division, like these two are, then we actually go into the schools to do practicum work where it's in a controlled environment. And then by their senior year, they're kind of on their own with a clinical teacher.
Nice. So do you guys have classes where you kind of like pick your area that you like to work with, like high school, middle school, or
you get everything.
Everything.
You get because our degree is a K-12 degree.
Okay.
We give them exposure in elementary, middle, and high school, and also adaptive physical education.
Nice. Okay, so what are some of the requirements to become a teacher, and how are they similar to other teaching subject areas?
Okay, so when you come to East Carolina, if you're going to go into teacher prep, regardless of the degree program, you meet your requirements for that specific degree, but then you also have to meet requirements for a teaching license in North Carolina. And those requirements are set up by the Department of Public Instruction. So they kind of set up our requirements that we have, and then they're interwoven into our degree program. So every student that gets into that final phase in teacher preparation has to have at least a 2.7 GPA, has to have sufficient SAT or Praxis scores, will have to do an internship, will have to do their Praxis 2 for their specialty area as an exit exam. And they also do in their final semester it's kind of a portfolio type thing that is nationally scored, and that has to be passed. So every specific teaching program has those requirements, but each one is different in what those things are as you've taken those final requirements.
Gotcha. Okay. So if I am a prospective student and, maybe a couple of other colleges I've looked at have this PE major, why would I want to learn from you and your other colleagues, and what kind of backgrounds do they have?
So I would say ECU definitely has a proud tradition of physical education. and I'm a product of this.
Nice, okay.
I taught in the public schools for 25 years, and my dream was to retire from teaching in public schools and come and work here for free. But fortunately, I was offered a position and I get paid. But anyway, so you know, I went off track with your question there. Go ahead.
Oh, it's so like what kind of background and experience? Like, why would I want to learn from
I got
you
you.
guys? Yeah.
So when you look at our faculty that are involved with physical education, we have some that have that practitioner background. Myself and Mr. Dawson both have public school teaching experience, and then our full-time faculty that are our professors, they have that research background.
Right.
We have some in adaptive physical education and regular physical education. So they give us that cutting edge knowledge, whereas we're doing more of the practical teaching part of it.
What is adaptive, by the way?
It's for special needs
Okay.
Students.
Okay. Brandon and Caleb, let's kind of pivot towards you guys. So why did y'all choose PE as your major?
So I chose PE because I had what we would call a roll the balls up type of coach in high school.
Okay.
And so PE, it wasn't really looked at as an importance like when high school because we had a roll the balls up type of coach. So I think what kind of led me to PE was just me wanting to not be a roll the balls up type of coach, like having lessons and stuff with my students. And because it's kind of like when you're in high school, it's kind of like PE is looked at as something like basically not importance pretty much, or just another class or something to do your homework or something like that. So I think as a PE teacher myself, I'll be not like I have lessons and units and things like that with my students. So that's kind of what led me to PE.
I think me personally, it's just my teachers, my physical education teachers that I had, I think were really good and helped me and making it a fun class, but also I learned a lot. And then in high school, my physical education teacher was also my baseball coach. And so I really enjoyed that aspect, that he was able to really give us a great physical education experience, but also be a head baseball coach.
Nice. So you like the coaching aspect as well. Okay, cool. What are your future goals? Like, what do you guys have, like a specialization, or like where do you want to kind of go from here?
So hopefully, I like to teach in the secondary school setting, like high school, middle school, for maybe a few years, and then I want to go back and get my master's in education.
Nice.
I haven't really decided what grade level yet. I'm thinking secondary, but also I have enjoyed teaching or going in and seeing the elementary education. I think that's really awesome. But yeah, I plan to hopefully teach a few years and then go back and get my master's in education.
Okay, nice. Got some masters. All right, that's awesome. What would you say is your favorite aspect of the program?
I say the instructors and professors because
Yeah.
they're really down to help you, and like Pizzutilla and Dawson, they both have experience in it, so
Right.
I feel comfortable with them telling me like what's wrong with my lesson plan, and I trust them to
Yeah.
be honest with me and tell me what's wrong.
Yeah, definitely the professors.
You know, when you're learning from great people, it makes it hard not to enjoy it. So I'll say that.
And I think part of that, which is a plus with our program, is that we're probably the smallest program in kinesiology, but that gives us a lot more hands-on time.
Oh yeah.
And I can honestly say our students build great relationships and friendships with almost a cohort group that probably by their sophomore year that starts to line up with courses, and they get into upper division that final 3 semesters together. So they build those friendships together, and they kind of bounce ideas off. And I think that's one of those things why the communication's open is if we have 70 people in our program versus 800, it's easier for me to make relationships with them, and we can have more of that personal time.
Yeah, even besides friendships, which we all need, but it opens up like networking opportunities for like, you know, hey, there's a PE job open in my county, like I think you'd be a great fit. That's super important to have, which is really cool to hear. Let's see. What would you say is your favorite class that you've taken?
I would say my favorite classes is I can't remember, it was one of my kinesiology classes, but I took with Mike Dawson, and it was just awesome because I was able to learn like the activities my students would be doing one day. I was able to get involved in and do them, so I think that gave me an aspect of how my students would feel. You know, make sure I'm not pushing them too hard, but also giving them a great physical education experience.
Elementary instruction, I took it with Coach P. So definitely like being able to teach since Corona, we had to teach our peers
Right,
into the
right.
school. So I'll be able to like just teach our peers, and you know, having them like you be the leader of your lesson, or teaching for like 30 to 45 minutes a specific skill. So I think that was really fun to do.
Yeah, and I will say I imagine your classes aren't just sitting in class and like getting lectured to. I've like walked by Menchie's and like y'all are out there like, you know, implementing like lesson plans and strategy and stuff, which is really cool to see. So, okay, let's see. What piece of advice would you guys give to incoming freshmen?
You want to start with me?
Yeah, any of you guys, yeah.
So I'll be the parent.
Yeah.
My goal is to get you in and get you out as quick as possible. You don't need to spin your wheels. So in order to do that, students have to do their part. We want to accommodate you, and we want you to enjoy yourself, but you need to do well in the classroom. And especially with if you're not a really strong science person, and we have a lot of science classes, those beginning years, you need to get an A in the classes that are the classes you should get an A in. You can't get a C because it affects you down the road. So in your first couple years, do your work and do well in school. It kind of sets the foundation for you moving forward. We do have students that will go through our program and they get to our final gateway, which is called upper division, and they don't have a high enough GPA. So they have to switch majors, and then it sets them back. Yeah. So if you do well early academically, you get involved. There's plenty of opportunities to get involved, whether it's in the Kinesiology Majors Club or other clubs around campus. I'm connected in Pitt County, and I get calls all the time for people looking for students that are interested in coaching in every sport.
Yeah.
So get involved and start getting those experiences and make those contacts. So that would be my big piece of advice.
Definitely, like as you go up in the major, listen to their criticism or their advice to you, because it's really there to help you. Like you'll look back and you'll see like that really helped. So that like one thing I did, especially like lesson plans, I always look back at the lesson plan before and see like when he said I did wrong or when he said I did right, and I redo what he told me I did right, and then whatever I did wrong, I make sure like I didn't do that for the next lesson plan.
My piece of advice would be create those relationships with your instructors, professors, but also with your peers, because they'll be the ones to help you, especially now in the classroom, but also in the future when you need help when you're teaching. Also, I would say get involved in your community. That would be a big part. And like Pizzutilla always teaches us to step out of our comfort zones to get involved in national and state conventions.
Yeah, there's a big convention that you guys pre-COVID I know went to, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually on the convention committee, so we have already submitted a proposal, so we'll have some of the students come and present with us. So that gives them some experience presenting, gives them another thing on the resume that you presented at a state conference, and then also it gives them the opportunity to make some contacts.
Right.
And I know that when we go to our state conference, there's a huge following of East Carolina graduates there, and they're always willing to look out for our future pirates. So making those connections down the road is important.
Okay, so a couple of our last questions. So let's say I am maybe a prospective student or an undecided major. I don't really technically know what I want to do with my career yet. What are some interests that I have had or classes I've enjoyed that may say, hey, you should think about a PE major or PE degree?
So Probably the first class to I would always encourage everybody is kinesiology 2123, which is called early experiences. And in that class, I teach it, and I call it our anchor class. So it's the first time that I get connected with our intended physical education majors. But I do get students from other majors that take this, and our initial goal is to get into the schools to do observations. So I place them in the schools for elementary, secondary, and adapted physical education, so they can actually go into public schools and watch someone teach and get that perspective. And usually that's the class that will determine whether you want to teach or you don't want to teach. And I've had intended physical education majors come in and they take the class and they're like, I don't want to do that. And that's great to know early, rather than getting into a major and then you're trying to backtrack.
Right.
So that's one. If you're in the kinesiology department, they do have an elective for some of the other majors. And I have a teaching for skillful movements course. And that's kind of a beginning teaching class. And it teaches you how to write lesson plans and how to teach. That's good for any profession, just to learn how to speak in front of people, how to coordinate or design your lesson in the way that you're going to speak that makes some kind of sequential order. So we get students that'll come into that class, and a lot of times I'll get those students in their older majors and they say, well, I want to switch to physical education as a junior or senior. My advice is don't. Go ahead and finish your degree and come back to graduate school and then work on that.
So what kind of graduate school programs?
So they can come back and actually do an MS in physical education.
Okay.
So it's a non-degree track. If they want to get their teaching license, currently there's two tracks right now. One is called licensure only, where you come back and you take courses that are required just for the teaching license part of it. It's not a graduate degree, it's a licensure kind of track for that. The other option, which has become more of a trend because of the teacher shortage, there are school systems now that will hire teachers without a teaching degree. And that coincides with a residency program, and East Carolina has a residency program. So if a school decides they want to hire you without a teaching degree, you could be hired by that county contingent upon getting into the residency program.
Gotcha.
And then that program is online. They take courses with our faculty, and we go through the whole process to get licensed as a teacher.
Nice.
So they have those options at this present time. We had a Master's of Arts in Teaching, which was a great track for people that wanted to be more face-to-face and want to do a traditional internship. But that kind of, with the residency model, it kind of shifted, and that's been on the back burner. So we're looking at possibly bringing that back.
Okay, cool. And it just reminded me, you mentioned internship.
Mm-hmm.
There's a required internship for this BS,
Yes.
correct? Okay, so what does that look like for students? It's like their last semester pretty much, right?
So they'll be they're in their first semester of their senior year. So they've applied for their internship in the spring semester and been accepted. So now what they'll do in their first semester in their senior year, they'll report to their assigned school one time per week, and they shadow their teacher. They'll have times where they actually teach with their clinical teacher, and then that last semester of senior 2, they go to that school every day and do their internship.
Nice. So are they kind of working with the PE teacher at the school,
Yes.
and that's their supervisor,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you get that hands-on experience and some feedback from somebody outside the classroom, which is really awesome to have. Okay, so last question for you guys. We talked about favorite part of the program. What's y'all's favorite part? You too, Jeff. What's y'all's favorite part of ECU as a whole?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I just like the experience. I like the energy of the university. I came here in 1985 to go to school, and I never left. And when pre and post COVID, hopefully we'll be through that. It's just, to me, I love football. I love the energy. There's a buzz in the air prior to football games, and I can't see myself living anywhere else
Okay.
and
I'm
not
there
being a
with
part
you.
of it, you know.
What about you?
Definitely, like getting involved.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you're into, it's something that something for you. So like me, I ran. So here I run club track here at ECU,
Oh,
and then
nice.
like I do a tutoring club, tutoring kids at the library here in Greenville. So just like whatever you're into, it's something like for you to do.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was at the campus, just how beautiful it is. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun to sometimes just take a walk around campus and do everything, and then like sporting events, football, baseball, they're awesome
Yeah.
environments.
I agree. Is there anything else you guys would like to add? No? Okay.
Be a pirate.
Yeah, be a pirate. It's the best life. Pirate's life is the best life for everybody. If you guys have any questions and you're watching this after, feel free to leave a comment and I will direct it. If I cannot answer it, I'll get Mr. Pizzutilla here to answer it for you. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining and we will see you later.